let's welcome Mike Francois. Did I say that right, Francois?
That's fine.
Huh?
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
Yeah,
Some
Francois.
accent on there.
Are you?
That's what,
Let me ask you this because I never got a chance to ask you. Is this? Are you background French somewhere or
Actually, Luxembourg.
Luxembourg? Okay, they speak French too, don't they?
Yeah. It's Luxembourgese, I guess. A little research I've done into it, but it's interesting. Yeah, it's not actually France, but
Yeah, Luxembourg. I know it's right. We used to go to Luxembourg.
tiny.
They used to have give a high amount of interest from the banks. All that's over with though. It's all
Yeah,
done.
of course.
But Luxembourg used to be the place before Switzerland.
Right.
I guest posed in Luxembourg with Jean-Pierre Fuchs 96.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite a good show, as a matter of fact. But I didn't know. So, but Francois is your name, correct?
Right.
Because they announce all kinds of stuff.
Cormier, Francois.
Yeah, Francis,
Yeah.
Francois, Franciosis, Francisco, whatever. It doesn't
How you
matter.
been, Mike? How you been,
Good.
brother?
How about you?
Good, man. I haven't spoken in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been years.
It's
years.
crazy how long, you look back and how long it's been.
I think I remember I spoke to you one time. I think it was in Columbus at the Arnold, a long time ago. I remember you talked to me and you said something about my physique, and I was like, I can't believe Mike Francois just told me something. Physique.
I remember I was sitting next to, I think it was Peter McGuff at the time, and I said, who's that guy? I'd never, I kind of stopped following it a little bit when I was done. And
Yeah.
he said, oh, it was, I thought the physique was good. Yeah, definitely.
So are you still in Columbus?
Yeah, well, suburb, but yes, Galena.
Oh, okay. So Mike, I watched you before as soon as I started training and reading magazines, and I remember you came out of nowhere in the beginning. You turned pro and you start winning shows even at the pros right off the bat. Was it the Arnold? Was that your first pro show?
First pro show was Chicago Pro Show. And
You
then
won
the
that?
then the Night of Champions, and then the next year the Arnold in the San Jose.
Damn.
So you won all shows.
Yeah, I won those. Yeah, then at the Olympia I got 7th. So I was
Yeah.
you can imagine. I mean, after you win nationals and then those 4, you just have a certain expectation. Then you get 7th at the Olympia. It was disheartening.
So you were disappointed. Did it have anything to do with you retiring early?
No, I mean, no. I competed after that, but it's the colitis thing that I had. I ended up
right. I remember you
started happening. I can see it in the pictures when I look back, and the symptoms after you've had something. But at the time, it's the symptoms are symptoms of a lot of things. Didn't really think a lot of it, but looking back, I probably got it, like a year after I was winning the shows, but.
Damn. Yeah, I was wondering what happened, and
I remember the story, Chris. I'm sorry. I remember the story. I think you talked about this in Flex magazine or somewhere where I read the story where you almost died.
Right. Yeah.
I remember the story. Yes, I don't remember the details, but I remember that they told your wife that you might not make it.
Right.
Yes, I remember, and that's a long time ago. Go ahead, Chris.
A long time ago.
Sorry to cut you off.
Now, I'm just thinking back. What did you do before, getting ready for the USA that year we compete together? And
year that you beat me.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about.
I knew that was coming.
That's why I recruited you, man.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, but what were you doing, before that? Because all of a sudden, like, I didn't hear about you, but then all of a sudden you were there, and you were they were looking for you to win the show and go right on and do what you were doing, but you had so much hype getting ready for that USA. And like, what happened? Because I remember you had hurt your back or something like that, like 6 to 8 weeks out is what I
Yeah,
heard.
I don't even remember that, but I read that recently. It's so weird how you get so focused. You don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm getting old, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think in looking back, not size wise, but just quality of conditioning and everything. I don't know about you guys, but I can look back at some of those shows we did or I did when I was before the Arnold and all that kind of thing. I think I was in my best shape. Chris, when you beat me, I think I was maybe in my best shape. A lot of people look at those pictures, not know what show it is, and say, "Oh, that was that when you won the Arnold." It's like, no, that's before. But so I think that the USA Flex won, then when you won, I think that was some of my best conditioning.
Oh
Not
yeah,
size and everything, but
definitely. It was so tough that I think the top 7 guys in that show all turned pro.
I believe it now.
Yeah.
It was tough. It's we can talk about this whenever, but it's different now. Yeah.
Are we talking 91 or 92?
92, 92, 93, right?
92 was flex.
Yeah.
And then
93 is when Chris beat me, and 92 flex one.
So, but just to jump in, because a lot of people don't appreciate what Mike actually did. 92, out of nowhere, he placed third to Flex Wheeler. 93, he plays close second to Chris Cormier, right? At the USA. 93, he cleans out the Nationals. 94, won both shows, none of the champions in Chicago, right? Then he goes 95, and again wins the night. First 4 shows. Who wins first 4 shows, right? It was not the hype. It was the quality. It was combination. I mean, at that time.
No, I meant hype as far as like people were like talking about
real.
him.
Yeah.
And real. It was like
for a reason.
And for a reason, yeah. But then he was like, they're putting him out there with Dorian, doing photo shoots with Dorian. So I was just like blown away, like, holy shit, like this dude is like serious.
Yeah. How much of did you? Because you like you said, you beat him in 92 when you turned pro. So he won his pro card in 93, right? Mike, 93?
93, yes.
Yeah. So when you, Chris, and Milos too, because you guys were competing at that time. So seeing Mike coming into the pro ranks and killing it, what was going through your mind?
I was just like, I mean, because Mike wasn't a very vocal guy, in my opinion. I didn't really hear a lot out of his mouth, but people was talking about, he's a serious competitor. I remember, like I said, he was hurt, I heard that he hurt his back, and he may not be doing the USA. And I was like, no, he's coming. He's coming to the show. There's no way I'm going to be sitting here thinking he's not in the show. Like, he's coming for the show. And I'm not going to be psyched out thinking he ain't coming for the show, then he shows up. And then have you mentally all fucked up. So I was like, okay, he's doing the show. He's doing the show. And I'm just getting ready to, no one looking for me to do anything. They always thought I was too small. So I just had that like a chip on my shoulder, the whole time. Like, I'm gonna try to outwork anybody and everybody trying to come for what I'm trying to go for, and and see where we go from there. But getting ready for that show, when I saw Mike come in, I was like, damn, here we go. Here we go.
that was still as an amateur, but I'm talking about after you already been pro.
I know, but I want to talk about. I know, but I want to talk about that show because
what's interesting. What's interesting is that if you look at the score sheet, I remember this clearly, obviously. The East Coast judges, where I am, all picked Chris to win, and then Steve O'Brien and then others from California, they picked me to win. There was a strange dichotomy between, the East Coast guys, where I am, picked Chris, and then so.
But Mike, even my so-called friends, Flex and Rico, my homeboys, they thought you should have beat me. And Chris, and I was like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Even Chris Espino, still to this day, he says Mike should have beat you at the USA.
It was possible, you know. But Dennis, I mean, you know that Flex Wheeler, when he came on 92, when he beat Mike, right? And
I
he
didn't know
to,
I didn't know Mike was in the show in '92.
yeah, he was third. He was third.
Holy shit.
That's when he was noticed for the first time. Like, who the hell is this guy, right?
No wonder they thought he was going to win. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but Flex won first four pro shows. Nobody else did, right? And a year later, Mike is doing the exact same thing. Exact same thing.
Yeah.
Win 4 shows in a row. Jesus Christ. So, Mike, you said like there was disheartening 7th place at Olympia, but so you were going into Olympia thinking like you can win the show?
You know what? I probably like you guys. I never went in thinking anything but, and I wouldn't go around saying that. It's not my nature, but in my heart, to give it everything I have to get up and train and do all the things we have to do. And as kind of only we know, I mean, how we have to do it at that level. I had to think I was going to win, but you know, I'm not an idiot. I didn't go away saying 7th is horrible and I should have beaten Ryan. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking top 5. You know, but that's, you know, I didn't really complain about my placing. I was upset with myself that I didn't do better. I never blame. I'm not one to judging's a judging, whatever. It always ends up being fair. I just worry more about what was I doing wrong, what didn't I do, what can I do. You know,
what do you think happened? Why did you think you placed out of the top 5?
Yeah, I don't think my conditioning is where it needed to be. But I look back at pictures. I mean, I was thick and you know in shape, but wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? So just wasn't good enough.
Yeah,
because I remember Porter Cottrell took 5th, and I was always like, man, I thought, but I know he was thicker than I was through here. So, and it was my first year in the Olympia. But I was like, man, I was feeling like I should be able to beat Porter Cottrell.
Yeah. Talk about it. Guy that's not respected for everything he did. Porter was good.
I know he was good. I mean, he was thicker, and then yeah, I want to talk to him one day also. But
yeah,
you know, Sean was in that show. What's his name? Paul Dillette in that show.
Mike, it's just a little bit different. You got to understand. I mean, not even Chris, and Chris is a phenomenal champion, right? Or Dennis, or myself, won first few pro shows and going to the Olympia with the mindset of a winner, like you did. I mean, I was going to the Olympia. In best case scenario, I can make a top 10, right? Or you know, Chris, if you're honest, like first Olympia, top 6 was like, oh, phenomenal, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mike was like going to win, Jesus, right? But actually 94 was the only Night of the Champions that I never did. I did 11 other Night of the Champions, but only 94. I think you beat Nasser or somebody there, right?
Right. Yeah. I remember Mike Quinn was in it, Nasser. Dang. You know, sometimes I'm shocked. I look back at shows because I didn't really pay attention beyond like 5th or 6th place if you did well. And you look back like, man, there's some good guys.
Who did you ever beat that you're like, dang, I can't believe I beat that dude?
I mean, I never won necessarily the show, but when, you know, I can tell you right now, I never beat you. I don't think I ever competed. I guess I did once against Porter in Olympia that year. I never beat Dorian. You know, I think people, I mean, obviously they weren't what they are, what they ended up being, but I beat Ronnie. Never competed against Kay. Lee Labrada. That's kind of neat to say you did it.
Right.
But there probably Lavrone was probably the guy that I beat that was always usually top 3 in every show.
Right.
I mean, well, obviously Flex Wheeler. That's the number one.
You beat him at the Arnold, right?
Yeah, Arnold. Then a couple. Then I think the Olympia that year.
Olympia.
Well, yeah. So I'm not saying he's and Flex. I think is. I don't know. That guy's phenomenal.
Mike, who do you think is, in your opinion, best bodybuilder of all time?
I've always liked Dorian. To be honest with you, I just like not just the physique, how he went about it, just the quiet determination, going to his gym and doing his thing, and and in those days, not seeing him until the show, basically, kind of that whole myth thing, you know. I wasn't necessarily intimidated by it or anything, but I think he, to me, that embodied what bodybuilding is all about. You know, obviously Ronnie's Ronnie and all that, but I had to pick one person I could have not been, but then like as much. I mean, it'd be, you know, not to disparage any of the other guys, they're all phenomenal.
Mike, do you still follow the sport today? You still
No.
watch Olympians? No?
In general, no. I mean, I can tell you, I learned most of what I hear just from him. I don't really study it or.
So you don't.
But I mean,
you're not even
nutrition and the. Go ahead.
So you're not even on YouTube or watching anything about Olympians or Arnolds or any
Not much. No, not much. I don't know why exactly. Some of it's not jealousy in the jealous sense. But, you know, I feel like my career got cut short, and so it's to be reminded of it all the time. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And,
but you still in the gym and you train people, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I train. I stay on top of all that, but I don't necessarily couldn't tell you this show and who won and who didn't win. And I know some of the guys. I'm not saying I don't know any of them, but comparing physiques would be difficult for me without looking at pictures.
Right.
I'm good. Were you a
competitors too?
What's that?
You train competitors or just the regular people?
Yes. All kinds of people, but competitors as well. Yeah.
Pros?
There's been a few over the years I've helped along the way.
Yeah, but then you have to go to the shows or at least have to watch it, right? Because
yeah. No, I usually they'll send pictures. I mean, it'll be that kind of thing or the comparisons I look at, but I'm mainly concerned with them and what they're doing as opposed to anything about that, right?
Hey, so you know, you said that you looked up to Dorian. How was that photo shoot with him? Because I mean, that's the one I wish I could have had it, but you had the body for it. I wasn't really developed like that yet. But how was that photo shoot with him?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I think that was another Chris Lund deal. Chris Lund and then Peter McGough, they're both England guys too, right? So they set that up, and you know, it was great. But we probably said 10 words the whole time. You know,
yeah, he don't talk that much, and you don't talk that much.
So it was kind of one of those things where I think it was a quiet competition kind of thing. Maybe when or he would say he didn't want to go real heavy, which I understand. We had a show. I think it was the weekend before. But it was great, and it's great to have that documented. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I remember you guys are doing some good little face-off stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. It was real fun, and you know how photos are at the time. You don't want to do it. You're just like, I just want to go eat. I want to. But once you did in those days, you know, once you did it, and then halfway through the year, the picture showed up. You're glad you did.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
Pictures are forever. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Who do you guys
Yeah.
think was the best ever bodybuilding photographer?
Well, Chris Lund, of course.
I think Chris had the training, and I think Paragonal had the black and white studio stuff.
So if you have to go with one, who would you choose?
Oh shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. For what? for training shots, it's unparalleled. You know, magic shot.
Kevin Harden.
Yeah, he was great, but
There's a lot of good photographers. That's why I'm asking. Who do you think is the best?
Yeah, I've seen Chris Lund in my gym for like 6 years, every day, every photo shoot, every angle. I mean, how can you beat that? Those lights.
Yeah, different styles though, but different styles.
But I agree with you that Per Bernal, he has that artistic and not necessarily bodybuilding style, but he made bodybuilders look great. I mean, artistic. Yeah.
What about,
Mike,
what about what's his name out of New York? Better Bodies.
Brian Moss.
Brian Moss.
Yeah, I love him too.
He as far as like putting stuff together artistically, that guy was like on another level, man.
Yeah.
It was always good to me too, and I'm not sure where you'd put him in the pecking order of photographers, but Irv Galp was always good to me, and tried to be loyal to him as long as I could before I was with Weeder when you had to go with Weeder's people.
Irving
I-
Gelb was my first ever photo shoot.
Me too.
My-
Me too.
Check this out. I was
He approached
Irvin
me at
Gelb.
Gold's Gym. He came to me at Gold's Gym and said, "Listen, we got to do a couple of pictures." I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
Yo, I was Irvin Gelb's first bodybuilding fucking photographer,
Really?
photographer. Yeah, he was
Wow.
trying to set up his lights and shit. He was like, I was
Hey.
rough.
Oh boy, you had to
I was
help him.
the first one.
Now that you mentioned, I have to tell you this one. So Irv, I was in Niagara Falls, and he goes, "Okay, let's go early in the morning because it's illegal, but we're going to take a pictures about Niagara Falls." I said, "Great, right?" So we are like in a cab, like ran out. I go there off the the fence and everything. He took a picture. And I said, "Run back, great." He didn't put the film in.
Oh no.
Hey, but remember,
Oh, God.
Milos, you remember that happened with Chris Lunt when I was doing this the squats a week out from the Arnold, the 765.
Oh,
Told me,
Oh,
just do one rep, and he's all on his back, laying like this from the bottom. I get down and I get back up, and he tells me, "Man, I was so nervous, I forgot to push the button. Can you do it again?" Milos
So
had
did
to
you
walk
do
away.
it?
Milos was scared shitless. He thought I was going to hurt myself. A week out.
Oh.
That's it. But that was scary. I mean, really, you see, Chris didn't want that fake shit. He would
Yeah.
give you the actual weight.
Yeah.
And that's how, Jean-Pierre Fuchs got hurt. And that's how, I mean, Orville Burke, that was
And you know
warming
what?
up.
Orville Burke, that was with me.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Me
really?
and him doing a photo shoot together after the Olympia with Chris
Yeah.
Lunt. And he was literally warming up with 15-pound dumbbells to doing like French press a little bit.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I was standing next to him. We were just warming up. And all of a sudden, he said, "This is what it sounded like." Somebody clapped in his hand, tore his triceps.
Oh,
I was late.
And he instantly let go on the dumbbell, and dumbbell hit him in the head and busted his head open too.
Oh, shit.
You
Damn.
remember that?
I heard it was bad.
No, I was 15 minutes late. I
Oh.
just remember when I came there, he was in paramedics' car. And at that time, my sister, who is a doctor in Serbia, she told me they were very concerned about athletes using performance drugs and going under certain anesthetic, and would interact, and they would go to coma, and they have all kinds of problems. So, but I went to Orville and I told him, "Don't go under, go the local ones." So I didn't have much time, but I did tell him that.
Who would locally numb you for a triceps reattachment?
Yeah, auxiliary. They could shoot you, under. They can. I mean,
I remember he didn't want to do nothing there. He said, "I'm going to fly home to New York and I'm going to get it
Yeah.
done with this doctor over there." They put him under, and that was it. Never seen him again.
Yeah,
Wow.
he did get in a coma, didn't he?
a month or a month.
And then I know that he had to take care of him. He didn't know how to speak. He didn't know how to walk. He didn't know anything. I don't know how he is today. I remember he was married to this Swedish
He's
girl.
living in Sweden. That's what I'm told.
The Swedish girl, and I think she took him away. They took him away to Sweden.
Hey, I want to ask Mike, was there any bodybuilder coming into a show that you were like, "Man, I gotta try to beat this guy"? And did you ever look at physiques or bodybuilders leading up to shows and their mindset going into a competition with some formidable athletes in it?
yeah. Oh, I mean, every time you did the Olympia, you're thinking to Oregon, right? So, that was probably but I did not focus, Chris, on other guys as much as I just focused on myself.
Right.
That's not what motivated me. Was getting better and then seeing, kind of get ready for war. I don't know this is a term. Get ready for battle, then you go out and do it, and kind of see what happens, and then look at the pictures and kind of judge it from there. I never really. One thing we always did, though, we get up early and train in the morning and say, "The guys in California are still in bed sleeping while we're getting better." I used to always do that, play that little game, but no, I didn't ever really focus or necessarily worry or whatever about one guy.
How do you feel about going against Flex at that USA? Because I trained with Flex getting ready for that show, and we were just like, everyone's got to come to our house type of thing.
Right.
And we just got to drive, we 3 to 5 minutes away from the auditorium, and we're right there by the gym. So how was that for you coming from Ohio area to try to beat someone like Flex?
Yeah, Flex Wheeler I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was because I can tell another story and I will in a second. But yeah, oh no, I knew it was going to be. I mean, look at pictures of that guy and like, how do you beat that? So much hard work that the God-given just genetics.
Yeah.
And in the minute, and Chris always said, Aceto, I remember how he said, he wins shows the minute he walks out and does the front relaxed. So he's just, everything's hanging there and he's so symmetrical. And
Right.
But yeah, another story. I did the, one year I did, my first year I started, I did the show in Ohio, small show I did, then the World Gym show here in Columbus, and the Ohio Championships. I won those shows. And they said, you should go to New Orleans to the Junior Nationals. It was like a week after that, and I said, no. In fact, Jim Lorimer said, we'll pay for your way down there and stuff. I said, all right, I'll go. My mind was in it. What it taught me later was never do anything you're not prepared to do. But and then who's down there? Flex Wheeler, Paul DeMeo, but who wins the show? A guy named Robert Rothrock from
yeah,
both those guys. And I got my butt kicked. I didn't get top 15. They said, thank you for coming. Here's your t-shirt. Later. But that taught me right there. This is the level if I want to do this. When I saw Flex and DeMeo, and that's crazy. They didn't even win.
What year would you say, Mike? What year would you say was your best? If you had to choose one show.
I mean, probably when I won the Arnold.
The Arnold. I was just about to bring that up. What was your weight at the Arnold? Do you remember that?
Probably 245, 250 in there, right there.
Wow. And how tall are you?
Between 5 and 5'9", roughly.
5'9". So 240, 245, 250. That was like mass monster back then.
Back then.
I remember your back and your legs is what stood out to me.
Right.
I mean, you had everything. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, when I was thinking about people, when it comes to certain body parts, I thought about legs, and back when I thought about you.
Right.
And that was, for me, that was like mass monster back then, 245. So, when you look at guys today getting on stage at 5'8", 5'9", being 260, 270.
Right.
But, do you see the same physiques? So that's why, I don't know, I wasn't going to ask you the question because, I'm not sure how much do you follow, but what do you see in bodybuilding today compared to bodybuilding back in your days?
Yeah. Well, I mean, probably what everybody else sees. I see more cartoonish looking guys now on stage because of their physiques blown up, but not quite that dense, hard, gnarly hardness that you see with Dorian. And you don't see that as much.
You've seen Dorian close up, right? So
yeah,
that's like, it's hard to just look at a photo or a video and capture what you see, in my opinion, with him. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, with Dorian, I don't think he photographed nearly as well as he looked on stage.
Right.
There's some guys like that. I mean, photos don't tell the whole story. Now you can't trust photos. Now, well, in our day, I was sending Polaroid pictures to her, at least just regular snapshot pictures to Aceto to evaluate, and then he would send them, or he would call me when he got them on FedEx. We'd take pictures of the gym, and then we'd run over to the photo place, have them developed, 45-minute photo or whatever, and then I would send them in next day mail to Aceto. He would get them, then call me, and then we'd make changes according to that.
It's funny.
Damn, the shit we had to go through.
How it used to work, because there was no emails, there was no media messages. There was none of that. You had to literally develop a 35 whatever roll and send the pictures in the mail. That's crazy.
Nuts. But it did somewhat work. But obviously, pictures. one-dimensional and you don't ever look as good as you think you are, or sometimes are.
Jay Cutler said the same thing, that like he was sending the pictures from 1 hour photo to Chris Aceto, and it's the exact same thing. It's unthinkable. But Mike, again, I really, because I was not winning the shows, you were winning. You won 4 shows. You went to the Olympia, but you were like kind of disappointed, but you beat some great guys. I mean, and the guys that beat you was Dorian and Kevin and Sean, Vince, I mean, Chris. Like, you didn't lose to the Christmas tree. You lost to the, you know, top guys in the world.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
And you still beat like many good ones. But that was disappointing. You didn't, I mean, did it took the wind out of you, and that's why 96 and 97 maybe you didn't have the same mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the next year I just thought I have to get way harder, and then I went overboard with it. And then the colitis started happening.
What did you go overboard doing to try to
just trying to get, not letting my weight, not staying full and staying big, more worried about getting hard and be a little more symmetrical than just doesn't work for me. I mean, it wasn't my gig, you know. So that's what I think went wrong. That's what I did.
Do you think anything contributed to the colitis that you were doing physically, or?
My mom and dad, they both have, it's on both sides of my family. It's a genetic thing, and not necessarily colitis, but intestinal issues and other diverticulitis and some things.
So, but is that under control now?
Well, I don't have a colon anymore, so my large intestine got removed. Yeah.
Oh, now I remember again. In that article, it said you had emergency surgery.
Yeah, right. It was a week before the Arnold, I think it was a week.
So you took out the whole colon?
Whole thing, yeah. So I don't have like 7 feet of my digestion, just the large intestine.
Right.
Yeah. So,
yeah. But yeah, 96, you only did Olympia, you know.
Yes. I did the Olympia and the Arnold from then on.
And 97, I mean, at Arnold Classic, you were top 3, and there was Nasser and Flex. I mean, this is a tough lineup. But right after the 97 Olympia, you just decided to hang it up.
Well, after I had my colon removed and all that, I just knew there was no.
Yeah. One thing, I don't know if you're aware of, there was 34 Olympia competitors. I mean, 30 competing. There were 34 qualifying. In 3 Olympias that you did, you know, 95, 6, 7, there was like 13 guys on the stage. Think about this. Yeah.
Didn't they say, I read something recently, they said they're going to decrease the number?
Well, they're going to well, from what it looks like right now, they're going to decrease it by 3.
yeah.
Because they no longer have the scoring system where you can accumulate points at shows, and the top 3 highest points will still qualify for the Olympics. So they stopped that. That'll take away. You're still going to end up with who knows how many.
But if you think about it, maybe you should just have qualifying shows, particular shows throughout the year where these only shows you
can't qualify. We talked about that last time where we said, you know, you should, unless it's the.
I think that's the only way, because there's so many shows now.
The New York Pro. Me personally, this is what I would do. I would say, okay, if you win a show in the US, you qualify for the Olympia. If it's a show out there, Romania, wherever, you got to win 2.
I know that, yeah.
You know, because people from here, they don't travel overseas to qualify for the Olympia. So you always have this 2nd tier, 3rd tier guys. And, you know, eventually some of the 3rd tier guys will qualify for the Olympia because there's nobody else there. You know, and I think on the Olympia stage, we call this the Super Bowl. It should be the best of the best. So, and when you see guys on the Olympia stage where you can tell, listen, he has no business being there. You know what I mean? Because he won a show and hooks the Buddha or wherever.
What do you say those guys? What do you say those guys that they won a show, but they just making their way in the sport? So
that's what I'm saying. And it
not their end all.
Listen, and the difference is,
But
20 years ago, if you win a show, you had to be good.
yeah.
So now there's shows that
All the
just
stepping stone in your career, and hopefully you win a higher tier right on the show in the
some of
future.
the shows, especially in Europe, they're so low in quality athletes that it gives a lot of chance. That's why there's so many competitors. They come from all over Europe. They run to that show because because there's a good chance that you can win this show.
And they want to
Back
get
in
in.
the days, all the European shows, we came with almost a half a plane full from the States. We came to every show in Europe. These guys from Europe, they only came to the shows because they wanted to be on stage with some of the US guys. That's it. Nobody ever thought he's going to go anywhere to win. It was just, I want to stand next to these guys, so.
And then you got to admit, some people you don't even want to see them even attempt to.
That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to say this nicely because.
They don't want to get it.
Yeah,
to go on that stage.
I can say whatever I want. It's always wrong anyways, but.
You want to see the best of the best.
At the end of the day, I just think that on the Olympia stage, 15 guys should be the max.
Something like that, yeah. But Mike, here is a question also, because we have a 90s era and this, and then people always complain. But here's a question to you. You did the Olympia 95, 6, and 7. Was any of those guys not in top shape in any of the shows?
Man, seems like they're all in shape. They're all in shape.
No, but back in there,
Really, there usually is like a guy or two who's not. But yeah, I can't remember anybody who's like, unless they're saying that about me. I don't know. I just think that they, there's everybody was. Yeah. And it was that way in NPC shows too. I think that's kind of,
NPC shows
that
deep,
down too. So.
Deep competition.
Yeah, and that's not happening no more either. If you look at I remember I went to the Nationals with me and Flex in '91, and like I told this story before, but when I saw Kevin, I was just like jaw dropping, like looking like Milos at the Olympia, and I just remember going back to the room and like. Was that a low blow? I got a jacket. No, but listen. No, but I'm just saying, like I told Flex right away, I said, you ain't gonna win this show, dog. Let's think about another one. This is before the show even happened. Yeah. I was like, just forget about it, man. It's done. Was not only one. I mean, you can see the top 6, in every class, the top 6 were all fucking strong, back then. Today you don't see it no more. If you could go to a pro qualifier, if it's the USA's, the Nationals, North Americans, whatever show it is where they give out pro cards, especially the super heavies, there's nothing.
Nothing, yeah. That's sad.
Yeah, super heavy. They just want to get as heavy as possible. Big.
I know, but what happened? Look at the heavyweights. If you see one in the whole class or two, but you literally look at the categories and be like, I don't see anybody who has any chance to do anything in the pros at this time. Usually you see the amateur shows, the pro qualifiers, where you can see all these guys going to do well in the pros. Even though they didn't win the USA's because there was only one pro card, not like today where everybody gets one. You know what I mean? So there was one pro card.
Everybody. Somebody's got to do something about that.
Yeah, I think
it's not the athlete's fault. They're IFB, whatever. But you gotta.
I think it's good for business, and it's good for to have people opportunity to turn pros, turn pro. But I think they need to somehow do something for not everybody just being able to qualify for the Olympia.
Well, it hurts the NPC shows because when you let that many people qualify, then all of a sudden that waters down the NPC. Usually there's 1 or 2, like you said, or 3 that, man, they're destined for great things. But they all leave at the same time, basically, and then leaves nothing there.
When you won the Nationals, did 1 or 2 people go pro in the Nationals?
The Nationals, I think, won in every weight.
Only every class winner at the Nationals.
Every class winner in the USA, it was just the overall. I think you remember that one.
Yeah,
that's probably you, right?
Right, right.
Chris, and then what? 2 or 3, 4 years before that, no one at the USA. I think it was just the Nationals guy turned.
Oh, really?
There was no North America.
Yeah, that is in North
So
America.
it was.
right?
It was.
I don't ever. I
Well,
thought
they had the North America in was it 1990 or 91?
That was
They did
later.
a,
It was much later than when we were turned.
Johnny Morant won North America. I know before that. I don't remember what year.
so, guys. So in the early years of the USA's, the USA's was just a title.
Oh
Right.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. I thought it was always a pro qualifier.
Yeah.
No, it
The
wasn't.
overall, I thought so. Yeah. Nationals, it was every winner in every
I don't
category.
remember who was the first USA winner. Don't remember.
Look at think
I
about,
can't. If I heard his
about,
name, I'd.
think about the wall at Gold's Gym. Go all the way to the left. Who is
Yeah,
it?
I know. I didn't know that. I don't remember. I could picture it, but I can't see the face or the name. I know Lee Haney was the first national champ. I don't remember when the USA started, but it was after the Nationals a few years.
But Mike, I really have this question because you obviously love bodybuilding. You spend your best years in it. You were world class, almost best in the world, right? How can you lose that interest to watch the shows? I mean, Dorian Yates said the same thing. I just can't imagine that.
I don't know. It's just what's in my. I guess I don't want to say I've moved on from that, but I like I said, there's a love-hate relationship for me with it because of just being hit with it every year and not like I said, I don't want to dwell on it, but I feel like I had 3 or 4 or 5 years left in me, and colitis ended it. So to be reminded of that every year, and it's this saying, you see it, it sucks to see another man living your life, kind of like that, where you feel like, in my heart anyway, like I it's not the person, but just thought of that. I should have been there. I could have won a couple more Arnolds, maybe won the Olympia. I mean, things like that enter my head, and it just hard for me in that regard. But at the same time, my wife will throw me. I'll think like that a little bit. I don't get down into it. And look, there's guys that never turned pro, that never, even did well on a show, let alone win a show. So yeah, I mean that brings you back to reality. That's the reason.
Is amazing.
Hey, Mike, you was a certified beast, man, for sure. Certified, for sure, man.
Yeah, as Dennis asked us, what did we think of you? Everybody was terrified in the sense that, oh shit, Mike is in a show. I mean, you have to bring not your A game, but triple A game, because you were beating a goddamn Flex Wheeler, like you said when you see him first. Perfect physique, winning multiple shows, second at the first Olympia, right? And you were beating him. I mean,
yeah, it's cool to look back and a little bit here and there and think about that.
Is this true that you didn't attend the Arnold Classic? That one of the years I heard that you didn't even want to see the Arnold Classic. You were invited, but you didn't want to come see it.
And after I was done.
Yeah,
that's pretty much every year. The only reason I'll go back now is like this year they're having a 35th anniversary, I think, or whatever. Otherwise, I just don't have a lot of.
That's coming up. Are you going? Because I'm sure they invite you too.
Yeah, they're having the winners come back again, like they do every year.
And they never invite me. Shit. Like, you lost too many times, Chris. You're a loser.
Didn't they one time have, I don't know what year, was it 25 years or whatever, where they invited all the winners and the only one they didn't invite was NASA?
NASA, yeah, I know.
Oh shit. I got invited to the Legends table before when I sat there with Sergio Oliva Sr. That was the only type of acknowledgement I ever had from that show.
We should invite people that got second, so you can get a chance to go.
That was 6 years in a row. Can you believe that, Mike?
I was just about to say you can bring 5 people with you.
Right.
Mike, you got second?
I would be like that. 6 years, 6 consecutive seconds at the Arnold.
Oh, man.
that was gut wrenching, man. I was like,
That
Gave it to him.
sucked.
last one, I was like, fuck this shit.
What was the closest you were to winning? What was the score? You know,
I don't know, man, because it's like I could pick. I just beat Flex the week before at the Ironman, like handedly, and then I know he didn't have confidence on beating me the next week.
what year was that?
That was
1990.
99.
That's me.
Yeah, I called it a win anyway in my book, but they didn't in the record books.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2000, not 99.
2000.
99 was
Yeah,
not.
and then I messed around and had Ronnie the next year, and he was already Mr. Olympia, and all he had to know is I wanted to beat him. He's going to go the extra mile, not to let that happen. And then
but in 2000, Ronnie it wasn't even close.
but listen.
You're lucky you got second.
Listen.
Lucky you got second.
Oh, listen. But he wouldn't have went down that far if he would have.
I think that was the year when Francois told me that he likes my physique. I think you should have got third that year.
But listen, he wouldn't have went down that far because he was just in Olympia 3 months before. And then he never did the Arnold again because it's hard to do that Arnold in Olympia. You know that.
Right.
It is
But
not
how did you manage to do this every year?
I just did it, man, because I wanted it. You know, I wanted that Arnold bad. And then I was running out of gas by the time I get to the Olympia. So I wasn't giving like my best look at the Olympia, but I was feeling like, you know, and then, you know, life stuff happens in between some of that stuff to maybe knock down your ability to function, or I'm sorry, not function, but stay focused as much as you'd like, you know. We all had different home styles and stuff, so it was just too many distractions and stuff too, you know. But I just felt like it was in the deep end, going from that Arnold, then to do a couple shows, get ready for the Olympia, and do a couple.
What was harder for you, to go from the Arnold to the Olympia, or go from the Olympia to the Arnold, which is a shorter period?
The Olympia from the Arnold.
So from the Olympia to the Arnold was harder.
It's easier than the Olympia.
You were already in the groove, and you just kept going.
Yeah.
You had too much time between the Olympia.
I take 20 days off.
Started partying a little bit. Say, I got plenty of time.
But bro, I had some really fucked up women in my life too.
Hey, shut up, man.
But listen, doesn't that play a factor in your career?
Milos could write a better book when it comes.
Hey, Milos, does that not play a strong factor?
I might have a worst record in IBB. But as far as I'm a world champion in picking a wrong woman, so don't.
You have some good looking women, but
I know, but he picked the wrong one every single time.
Except now. But Mike, this is also, I'm curious. How did you train? Dorian style or more volume? And how many years did it take you to turn pro? Those are things I always wanted to ask you. Because you came out of nowhere, like shit.
I started bodybuilding really 1990, and I turned pro in 93.
What?
1990?
That's when I started like in earnest bodybuilding. Yeah, I lifted weights for sports. I was playing football in high school, got hurt, and I was studying to be a priest for 7 years. And
I remember that.
I was in the seminary for that time. And I still worked out, but I didn't compete. And then I competed in 1990. Anyway. What was the other part of the question?
Wait, how did you train? Heavy or volume?
Oh, I was heavy, yeah. Heavy. I lifted with the guys at Westside Barbell, Louis Simmons and those guys.
Yeah, I know Westside Barbells. But I know, I mean, all his stories in Flex magazine, you can always see he was a heavy. I remember he did that sumo deadlifts and all that crazy stuff. Yeah. I remember all that.
A lot of heavy stuff. And I was around powerlifters. I never competed as one, but I was around those kind of guys. College, at the YMCA, and then Westside Barbell guys here. So that was, you can get big lifting heavy. I wouldn't have changed much. I think it was what I needed at the time.
Okay, I have to be a little bit pricky here. From 90 to 93, when did you start juicing?
Pretty much right at the beginning of that. I was 25 years old
Okay.
When,
Just
when oh, you're 25
when I started bodybuilding.
in 1990 or 25?
When I won the Arnold, I was 30. My birthday, actually.
Oh, you won the Arnold on your birthday?
Yeah.
I kind of remember. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I remember. I'm glad he mentioned that he studied to be a priest. I remember there was this priest winning the Arnold. I remember all this stuff. Now everything comes back. So long ago, you know, you forget certain things, but it's all coming back now.
That's how you come out of nowhere.
Sorry to cuss in front of you, Mike.
Yeah,
Sorry
yeah. Go to the seminary for 7 years and you'll come out of nowhere.
Now, Mike, do you still train yourself, or you just train other people?
Very little. I mean, a little bit just to stay in shape, keep my body fat, you know,
Yeah.
comfortable. I still eat. I've always eaten. I started eating healthy when I was in high school. So the nutrition and diet part was not hard for me at all, as far as sacrifice goes. Or
So with not having a colon, do you have to watch what you eat too?
I can eat anything I want. I just know that the transport time, food going through my body, will be a lot shorter.
Huh.
So
shorter, and what happens in that?
you just, I mean, just know, you just have to go to the restroom more.
So you're gonna have beef. It's gonna take like how long?
Yeah, more fatty things sit in you a little bit longer, you know. But the thing that gets you are like nuts or seeds or peanut butter or things like that. More high residue.
Huh.
Go through
Okay.
quicker.
Nutritionally, how high did you go with the protein back in early 90s when you were at the best?
But when I first started, I was up to 10,000 calories a day, probably.
Jesus, right?
Yeah, it wasn't for a long time, but it was part of a year or two. Trying to get big, trying to get bigger, and
High protein.
yeah, high protein. I mean, high everything at that point.
What was your highest weight, Mike?
Ever like 300.
Oh,
Right in that. I mean, right.
Chris,
Officer, I'll tell you this.
Chris, were you ever 300?
97. Then I had to take a shit.
Just a pizza away.
Hey, I was coming from the firehouse straight to the scale.
Yeah.
Firehouse straight to the scale.
So I mean, empty weight in the morning. You never hit the 300?
Never. And I felt really uncomfortable at 297. Then I was like, I thought I need to come down. You know, 93 to 95 was good for me, but that is somehow anywhere I got close to that 300, his body was just not happy.
I was 282, right? But I'm going to ask this question because everybody now is, oh, you old guys, you should be skinny. You don't need that weight. When I was 282, like I said, I was uncomfortable. I said, oh, shit, I don't want to be like this. But lately, you know, I was thinking, that was a fucking good feeling. You know?
Yeah.
I wish I could be that.
Nitrogen balance up high.
You know what I mean? You know, because let's be honest. I mean, it has some benefits. Like, man, you move and you feel like, you know, everything else is moving with you. You know, shit.
Right. I get it. Yeah. It's
I
nice.
remember when I was weighing a certain looking a certain way, but I come from the neighborhood when people look at you, they, you know, it's like, you know, what are you looking at type of attitude you have. And it didn't dawn on me until someone was like, I was like, man, what the fuck is that guy looking at? He was like, and I was with someone that said, Chris, you don't look fucking normal. Like, of course they're gonna look at you. Don't look normal. You're 5'10", you're almost 290. You don't look normal. So they're gonna
Nothing
look
normal
at
about that.
Yeah. It was like, so I was like, then I started going, oh shit, okay, I get it. But at first I had a problem with it.
No, Chris, you carried it well. You never walk like a bodybuilder. That's not you. Chris I always looked at Chris, I was like, how the fuck can he walk like a normal person?
Right?
I know he had the legs and everything, and he still moved and walked like he was
Right, like an athlete.
You can see he was big, of course. But you know how bodybuilders walk in, and you get that bodybuilder walk.
They get that mindset behind the walk.
I'll tell you this, so no great ones ever walk like that. It's always the guys that want to be, it seems.
Yeah.
Right. Nasser.
So what's your body weight today, Mike?
I'm like 181 pounds. 82
Holy
pounds.
shit.
Yeah. Lighter than I was in high school.
Damn.
5'9", 180. Probably 3% body fat. According to
low body fat. Yeah.
Damn.
But being
I'm comfortable. I eat what I want. I mean, I eat healthy, but I eat when I want to eat what I want to eat.
so, let me ask you
I don't
this.
know what my weight ends up being.
Let me ask you this. So, being around 300 in off season for a few years, basically, and going back down to 180, can you tell in your physique?
I think, oh yeah.
Because I see it now on and I didn't see this all these years. I can tell now that I have body parts where I can tell I was much bigger. The skin is was really
that,
skinny
yeah.
for a long time. Milo, stop laughing, goddammit. I'm gonna hey,
You
I'm
feel
gonna
good.
make
I'm just
everybody peel his shirt off and show off. I'm like, why is my shit so fucking soft? You know what I'm saying? I'm
Oh,
like,
I know. Yeah, I notice that all the time.
I had a phase where I'm like, fuck, man, you know. But now I'm at the point where I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
hey, you still wear a tank top. You would not see me in a tank top ever. So you have a confidence. Don't worry.
Only when I go to the pool, I'm wearing a tank top.
Shit. No,
Only.
no, because I remember when people saying, "Oh, my parents even said it. Oh, when you stop, everything is going to hang." I said,
Yeah,
"How is muscle going to hang? What is wrong with you?"
I know. Two different things.
And I gradually lost
The
weight.
skin.
I know.
Gravity.
I gradually lost weight. I mean, I stayed big for a long time, but it was because natural. My genetics just allow me to stay big as long as I train and eat. But then, when I got to the point where I said I want to lose some weight. So I said, what can I do? So I cut the protein and I stopped training. And not training is what did it for me. Fuck me up.
Yeah. I have to do something all the time, but it's nothing.
Yeah, I have to do so. I have to start training again. Because I was training before the Olympia. I was training for 4 weeks, and everything was starting to, feel a little bit harder again. I was like, yeah, I'd like to see it. I'm back in the tank top in like 2 months. And then I got sick at the Olympia. I got sick, and I was sick, and since then I haven't trained.
I still hear a little nasal going on.
I was the sickest I've never been this sick in my life.
Jesus Christ.
I take COVID every day over the flu that I had.
Hey, Mike, you have kids?
2 boys. Yep.
2 boys? All right. Nice.
One was there, right? At the beginning. It was in the room. Right?
Oh,
that's somebody else. But another question. You had a crazy legs. You still have legs or you lost it?
No, my legs actually are the one. Yeah, they stay. They're
stay.
lean and striated. Yeah.
And still big?
Damn.
Oh, I mean big enough.
Big enough. I mean your best body part.
180
The bigger body part.
Yeah, calves and legs stayed. I mean, did stay. Trust me, did stay. But I lost the least in those.
Right.
That's what I thought before. There is no way I would lose legs. I mean, when you have them, and I was 100% sure. They went like so goddamn fast.
Really? Yeah.
I am in a flamingo club now. Shit.
It's true though. Shit, legs.
I think my legs stayed pretty good. I think my legs stayed.
Oh, it's the ass. It's not the legs, Chris. It's the ass that stays big.
I still got that. I'm more bottom heavy, I think. I'm a little
too. In the inner thigh, that shit's soft as hell.
Yeah?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you didn't even watch the Olympia.
You got what?
Did you watch Olympia at all? 2022.
I saw some pictures after. Yeah,
and
because there's a kid from the gym, Brian Belzano. I don't know if you know Brian. He's got the crazy glutes. He's a 212 guy.
Oh, okay.
And he ended up getting like 9th or 10th, but he flattened out like a pancake. I mean, I don't know what he did or what happened, but
is he the top guy in your gym?
Yeah, he's in our gym. He actually won our show about 6 years ago. First show, he went to the USA, won the USA, and turned pro. Boom, that's it. Damn. And he hurt his shoulder, and then he finally came back. He won the Indianapolis show this year or last year, the pro show, and then he did the Olympia. I thought he was going to get top 3 for sure. And I think his physique will warrant. He'll win it probably if he sticks with it next couple of years. If you look at the pictures, he has the best actual, I think, physique up there in the 212s as far as just
overall.
Yeah, overall look and whatnot. But he just, I don't know what he did. But
What, does he pose with you and all that stuff? Or
I've talked to him a little bit, but no, he doesn't. I wish he would. But
did he?
I don't.
Does he pose a lot or not?
No, his posing needs some work, and I mean, and he just needed to be fuller. I don't know. He was ripped. I mean, shredded. If you go look at pictures of it, Ryan Belzano when he was ninth, I think he was ninth. Oh.
Did you pose a lot when you were doing your shows, your competitions?
I didn't. Not as much maybe as I should have. I did the mandatories. I didn't like I had those the posing routines I did, and I had a guy that choreographed them, but it wasn't. I just didn't get.
I'm more into the mandatories myself. I'm not really like. I mean, I like to free pose, but my mindset was like, I need to nail these compulsory poses to get to where I need to go, and I just felt that was way more important.
Yeah, for sure. That's where it's at. I mean,
sorry, Milos, but
no, that's. I mean, true. That's what they're judging. But no, I just wanted to. You didn't answer. So you didn't see the Open Olympia, or you just saw the pictures?
Well, I saw pictures of it. Yes.
So what do you think? What do you think?
Man, first of all, I don't like the way they're posing. The way they have their feet way wide, and then they're
riding the horse.
Yeah, it's like they're on a motorcycle. I don't know why they do it. I don't remember anybody in our day that was standing like that.
Was that Derek?
All of them. I mean, it seemed like every single one of them.
Derek's gonna get that posing down, man.
But as far as I mean, I don't know if the pictures, and pictures are pictures, so you don't know if you're really seeing. But I thought the guy that won, his back looked not hard. I don't know if it was
the back.
Yeah, the pictures I saw.
His back wasn't that great. Also, the front was good, but and he had more stuff going on. He was at the more mature cut physique, but he had that the last few years also.
Yeah. So, it's surprising. I guess that guy can come from 212 and right in there.
Top two from the 212.
What's that?
Top two or from the 212? The guy that got second?
The 212 guy. Yeah.
Derek.
That he came in. Yeah. The guy that I guess Lunsford.
Yeah.
That was a surprise. I mean, if you look back, Flex at his best was what? 13, 14 when he won the Arnold.
Yeah.
217.
At the Arnold, he was 216.
I mean, unbelievable. So he was just. I mean, just comparing the 212 to that.
You don't see that today.
Could you have put Flex down a few more pounds down to make the 212?
Yeah.
You don't see anybody being how tall is Flex? 5'10", 5'10 and a half?
5'9".
Yeah. No, he's 5'10
5'10 and a half. Yeah, for sure. Even now, we are shrinking.
He's 5'9" now, but he was 5'10 or 5'10 and a half.
Yeah.
And at 216, if you listen to this number today, you say somebody's coming to the Olympia 5'10 and a half, weighing 216, you would instantly say, he's going to be
that's under the limit for plastic.
But his bones were like, his ankles were like that big around.
Oh, tiny.
Yeah. And he probably had some of I would say he had the biggest arms of all of them.
Yeah.
He's a trip.
Maybe not bigger than Paul Dillette, but other than that, he had the biggest arm. He must have had the biggest arms.
Oh yeah, huge arms. He was all arms.
Yeah. Did Paul ever told you how he got the Wheeler contract?
Let's hear it.
He just went to the office, right? And Joe asked him, "Okay, do the front double bicep," and that was it.
Yeah, but you got Canada. What's that black guy that does head of the Canadian bodybuilding? What's the guy's name? The black guy?
Winston. Canada, Nimrod King.
Yeah, Winston. He took him over there. Yeah. Go ahead.
Shit.
Go ahead, Mike. I mean,
no, I got nothing.
No, Milos.
What?
I cut you off, I thought.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it just guys, I have to be reserved because everybody said I talk too much, so I'm trying to.
Now you guys speak. Now I gotta say.
I would ask every little detail to Mike. And Mike, I mean, I'm bummed that a lot of people nowadays don't really recognize how great you were, and because you're out of the scene, somehow they don't mention you, but you're one of the all-time greats. Yeah, it's your decision. You don't really want to be reminded and go watch the bodybuilding shows. But then again, if you're honest yourself, that was your passion. This is something you were world-class at. I think you should be a little bit more involved.
Yeah. But no, and I try to be through our show that we promote and the people that I do help. But yeah, I mean, every time I'm faced with doing that, I'm always like, even doing like this type of thing, because it's just. But once I do it, I'm like, I got to do that more because that was fun. I mean, it really, I do enjoy it. But
I'm glad you answered me back, because somebody was trying not to even be involved. But I just like that you came up and you wanted to do it, and it was like, oh yeah, let's do it. Happy New Year and all this stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm glad he wanted to come on, because, like I said, it's not easy to get some of these older guys that I looked up to get them to come on and talk to you on a podcast, because I was I mean, I don't want to say no names because maybe in the future I can still get them. Sure. But there was a few of them, and I sent you guys some screenshots that they weren't interested in talking to anybody.
I think everybody thinks, we all realize life goes on, right? I mean, life goes on. We don't look like we did. It's more fun now talking to each other probably than it would have been then. We just sat around feeling miserable about dieting or whatever. Right. And now, you can talk about it and tell the stories and see what people are really thinking, because when you compete against somebody, you don't know what they're thinking, and hear kind of what people are thinking. I think that's fun.
That intrigues me, because even talking to you today, like I'm finding out stuff that I always wondered or whatever like that. And then I always like to see and try to understand that person more, what they were thinking at the time or how they feel. Because I know myself, I got to try to tear you guys down mentally. That's just how I get down in my mindset, and to try to look at you guys in the worst possible way possible, so I can go against you and be confident to beat you. Right. But then you can realize and recognize how good each other was. We're actually the best in the world, but you got to somehow try to beat these guys. But there's no doubt that we were some of the best that this sport's ever seen, for sure.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987, and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we don't run around acting like we think we are. You know what I mean? Just to have somebody else appreciate it means a lot to me.
We all appreciate you greatly. I mean, Mike, that's what I'm saying. You probably never heard from none of us telling you, "Hey, listen, you was." I mean, yeah, Chris, about a year ago, you told me that I was good, but you were never gonna tell me back then. But Mike, as soon as you came on the scene, I mean, Jesus Christ, the guys that you beat were, top of the top. And the only thing that now they're saying that 95 Olympia, 7th place, there's 6 guys ahead of you and 5 guys below you. They were all fucking phenomenal. So there was not like, that was slapping.
I was happy. I was happy with 6.
6, yeah, sure. Yeah.
I was happy.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway, it's just competitiveness in me, I guess, is what kind of.
Yeah, but now you get your flowers, man. Now you can just smell the roses.
No, I know. I didn't do enough of that. That's one thing I would have changed. I probably would have slowed down a little bit and try to enjoy it, as opposed to feeling like you're pushed to do it. You want to be in kind of like feel like it's a fight to do it. So
yeah,
you get to do a lot of things, travel and whatnot, the guest posing, guest appearances. That's things probably would never.
So did you ever, like, being in Ohio, they got the Arnold Classic there so many years, did you ever go there or get did that mean something to you, that winning that show?
Yeah, what happened, there's a little story. When we were married, so it was, and the birth year of the Arnold was what, 88, 89, I think it was.
What's the
Yeah.
first one? I think the first one was 88.
Okay, 88.
Yeah.
So,
Gaspari won, right?
Yeah.
yeah. So we went, so my wife and I can't remember if we're married, so it was 1990. I don't think we were married yet, but we drove around. We thought, we didn't know much about the Arnold. My wife had gone, we didn't even know each other the year before. She had gone separately to watch it, and I had never been down there. And we drove by the Vets Auditorium where it used to be the older place, or originally was. And we, you know what, this is park and drive up there and see if something we can come up in or whatever. So we parked, walked up, went in the first door, no one stopped us, walked into the second door to the lobby, no one stopped us, went upstairs and watched the show from the balcony just standing there. And that was, I think, 90 or 91, not, ever knowing I'd ever be on that stage, let alone, win the show. So in that sense, it did have a special meaning. It's kind of unbelievable in my mind that you'll watch it and then not knowing, never what God has in store, I guess is the thing.
Yeah. Do you still, when you walk around the Arnold Expo or something, do people still recognize you?
Here and there, but I look so much different.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I was just wondering because, true fans will know.
Yeah. I mean, usually when I go back, it's for, like this year we have to go back again. They called having won the show. So you'll be, most of the time, people recognize you because you're behind your name tag.
Right.
People know me from that.
They're going to have you at a booth or somewhere too?
I don't even know the details yet. They just told me that. There'll probably be some type of meet and greet, or who knows how they'll organize it. I don't know. It's different now that Jim Lormer's not there.
Like it? Yeah, I know the lumber's not there. It's a totally different run show.
Funny
They
thing-
used to
funny
pick you
thing-
up at the airport and bring you over to their hotel.
Right?
All
I'm
that's
sure that's
all
right.
that stuff.
Hey,
I got your name on it. I got your name on the back of this shirt.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I was gonna cross out the ones I thought I should have won. Put my name.
Should have one that has all the second place guys.
Yeah.
Your name would be up there.
All the Arnold Classic champions in 35 years. I think everybody's still alive, but NASA. NASA, I think, is the only one that's not alive anymore.
Who's, yeah,
Still alive, aren't they?
I think they are.
Yeah.
That's some close calls, right?
So people won a couple of them, that's that won. They won again, a lot of the guys.
I wonder how many years has it been? 35, or how many different winners?
Well,
Yeah, not that many.
Like
Not that
20-ish,
many out of 35.
let's go through the list. Rich Gaspari won the first one. Second one was Sean. Well,
No, Mike Ashley, right? Didn't
Mike Ashley.
Mike Ashley won because Sean got popped.
And then Sean
Vince Taylor, 91.
Taylor, that's 4. 92. Who won at 92?
LeBron? No.
No.
Flex won 93.
It's probably here in the back of the shirt.
Is that 92?
Yeah, well, let's see.
No, this is not 92. Oh, this is all the winners.
Hey, go away.
Sorry,
You know,
go
you're
up.
too
Mike
close.
Ashley, hold on. Stand up, Lynn.
You're too far.
Come
Yeah.
closer. Sean Ray, go up high.
Oh, wrinkly, hit last spread. No.
Shit. Vince Taylor is 92.
Oh,
Go
Yeah,
up.
Vince
was it?
Taylor, 92.
Vince Taylor, then Flex Wheeler.
I said 93. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
up. Go up.
Didn't
Oh, yeah.
officer, right?
And now come back. Damn, Chris, your back is so fat, man.
Yeah.
You don't make me feel insecure.
Love handles.
Want to bring me up?
The love handles distorting all the names.
Yeah, 92 is when I did with Vince Taylor. Yeah. So 91 was Sean Ashley was 90, but wasn't Ashley
Sean won
giving
the next
away?
year.
Ashley won because Sean got popped, and then Sean came back and won it again.
He had to give the title and the money back.
Right.
Did he? Did he really?
Uh,
I'm
he
sure
did
he
the
kept the trophy at least.
No,
He thought Winston would be out of the system.
He had to return the trophy. And
Yeah.
Mike Ashley got it.
Mike Ashley got it.
Yeah.
He got. I mean, so A lot of people
He
don't
wanted
believe
to,
that
he wanted
Mike
to
Ashley
get
was.
after, which was basically just proved the point that he was, you know, a clear winner anyways.
But Sean only won that one pro show.
One time, yeah. He didn't.
One
He only
time.
did the Olympia a lot of times. He won the Arnold and he won the Ironman. That was it.
That's
Yeah.
it, huh? Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
The further away we get from Sean as far as competing, the more appreciation I have for how good he was. I mean, there's not a real weakness. I mean, shoulder width maybe, but man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
I
a
mean-
bodybuilder, I have all the respect in the world for him. No doubt.
Now
He
was
was one of the all
I was seeing him in high school. So as a high schooler, he was already there.
Wow.
You know,
Phenomenon. But Mike Ashley, okay, he claimed, and I believe it, he was drug free for life.
I think so too.
You know,
Yeah,
there was few guys that people always question and stuff like that.
he still looks like that though.
Yeah.
He still looks like that.
The Paul Jean Guillaume, I don't know if you remember, guys.
Yeah.
That guy.
Jean Paul.
Yeah.
Jean-Paul
Jean-Paul
Guillaume.
Guillaume. I mean, phenomenal. He would not take aspirin when he had a headache.
Crazy bicep.
Crazy bicep speak, everything. Yeah.
I know all the history. I watched all this in the magazines even before I was training. You know, so I know, I read everything. I read every story, and you know, I didn't know back then. I thought everything you read in the magazines is true. I didn't know the diets, the training plans. I didn't know that you take pictures and they take
Put a movie. They put a
different body parts, and who knows when they're going to put a story out with a training program doing your routines.
Mike, you had some covers. I remember a cover you got a cover after the USA. I wanted that cover, but you got the cover, and I think you and Milos was cover boys. You guys were cover boys.
Oh, I know.
I was not I mean, I had a few covers, but I'm not a cover guy like that. But
I was only a man. I was man's physique. I could have might as well, you know, have a good shorts.
They liked your hair, Milos, for sure. Milos had the hair.
They said I wasn't a cover.
You sure didn't have a muscle to show.
Yeah.
Chris, sometimes you need to show up to the cover shoots. That's how you get the covers.
Oh wow! See that?
Don't come straight from the club and don't look cover ready.
Mike, you were inspired by Dorian. Was it the main guy when you were starting?
He wasn't even really there. He started. When did he?
Yeah, 91.
Yeah, so we started. So I didn't really know him until I saw pictures later on in magazines. But I was inspired by Tom Platz, and there's a guy named Ron Love. I don't know if you remember Ron.
Yeah, of course.
But Ron, because I was friends with him because we had a mutual friend here in Columbus, and Ron would come down to train here and there. And I just, cool, different things. It wasn't necessarily for the physiques, even though the physiques are great. But like Tom Platz, it was his mindset, the work ethic. You know, how he just focused so much. And then Ron was all that, plus he was just such a great guy. I mean, he treated everybody. In fact, you know, I was not intimidated by him. I was just in awe of him to the point where, you know, I wouldn't go up and talk to him. I'd be too shy to even approach him. I'm not too involved in that situation. And then he said to our mutual friend, he goes, "Is Mike, what's wrong with Mike? Doesn't he like me? What's going on?" And because I didn't say anything to him, I said it was because I was too shy. I didn't want to interrupt you, whatever. So, but that's the type of guy Ron was. And there's another story where there's a mutual friend owned a health food store, and he had I'm not going to say two guys they were thinking about using for I think it was at the time like a Nature's Way, that company for nutrition, but I forget what the company. They were picking a new guy. They wanted a guy to promote and sponsor Pro. And Ron talked to the guys at the table when they're eating, really gregarious and a good guy, they thought. And the other guy, basically didn't give him the time of day until they introduced him, said, "Oh, this guy owns the company." Then all of a sudden, this guy's friendly with him. So, I mean, that's the type of guy Ron was, friendly with everybody, and nice guy. So that's that kind of thing inspired me more than necessarily their physique or other things.
But your legs are crazy. Was any of the the Tom Platz influence? Did you do some crazy workouts like him?
Yeah, I mean, we hammered it. Yeah, I mean, we just, and it wasn't necessarily the exact same things he was doing. It was just the intensity of how he went about whatever you. That's the main reason why I play him and Wick. And also, I met him. He's one of the first guys. The first guy I ever saw guest pose, Mike Quinn. So,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a year I think he got sixth at the Olympia, and and I saw him guest pose, and I thought, man, I don't know if he can make it, but he came in, and it was a short period of time, but it's him, and then Troy Zucolato, guest pose at a show I remember, and I think it was Eddie Robinson, another show. So those are some of the guys that, I mean, they just looked unreal. I don't know about you guys. When I first saw those kind of people.
Man, Mike Quinn used to be in my gym in Palm Springs where I grew up, and he, we got to know each other then. I was like, man, I was looking at it, I was like, man, I had better legs than him. How is he a pro? I was like, he had smaller legs, but he had that upper body that was just crazy. But I remember going to, when he moved to Venice, I would just go up there just to visit and just to look, buy a magazine and buy a t-shirt. I was still in high school. And then I'd watch and see who's training. I remember seeing Mike do 465 bent over row for like 4 reps. I remember he was like, boom, boom, and he just dropped it. And he just screamed out, motherfucker, like that. I was just like, holy shit. I never seen anything like that in my life. I was just I mean, he scarred me with that one. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he was an aggressive guy.
Dude. I couldn't believe it. Just to be a kid to watch that intensity and that whole thing. I was just like, man, that's crazy.
And you realize when you get older that you don't necessarily have to do all that. Still get
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
When does that happen? Yeah.
Right. But all of the guys, Mike Christian, all those guys, they was like guys that I was like, man, this is shit right here.
The thing is, all those years, check about all those people, I never really ran into anybody in my circle or things I did that were not good guys. I mean, everybody gave me the time of day, and that's one thing that kept me going, I guess, too. Because if there are some guys, and I think about that when I talk to kids now, if there's some guys that didn't treat you well, you might not even ever attempt to be a bodybuilder. I just even think everybody's like that.
So do you see guys with potential and you let them know, hey man, you got potential to really do something?
I do, yeah. And I don't just do it to do it. I'm serious when I do it. So I don't do it real often because there's not a lot of great guys out there, but I do for sure, especially at our show. I'll tell them, look, you got a good future.
What show do you have and what's the date?
My Francois Classic, and it's June 17th this year. It's our 20.
Damn, you've been doing it. That's awesome.
We've had it for quite a while, and it's ebbed and flowed with everything that's been going on. But
you've still been giving back. You've still been giving back.
Yeah, we are. We started it obviously a number of years ago, and it was when, I don't know, in Columbus anyway, it was bodybuilding was kind of on the wane a little bit, not doing real well, and so we took it over and try to build it back up and try to emulate kind of in a miniature way what they did at the Arnold.
Do you
the athletes right and stuff.
Do you hold any like free posing sessions or clinics in name of the show, or
I should do that and I don't.
Come on, Mike.
I should. You're right, because guys are doing that now.
You should do it. It's good time
just
to
open it up and say, hey, we're going to do this. If you want to come.
Yeah, come down, and give it enough time within the practice, maybe 8-10 weeks out or whatever, and then do it again.
And maybe another one, maybe 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
It's in Arizona.
Approved. That's a good idea. And also, I mean, the thing is with Matt is, I know the bodybuilding, posing, and the classic physique, but when it comes to the
get a younger dude who does it.
Get some other guys.
Get another guy who does it, and then do it like that.
You know what we do in Arizona? We do we call it stage ready show. We do this a week before my show, and sometimes a week before Whitney Jones's shows. This guy, PT by Joe, he rents a place where there's a stage, and all athletes can come in, and we basically take him through like it would work
Yeah,
at the show.
Perfect. Yeah.
We do the lineups, we do the walk-ins, you know, and get them basically stage ready. You know, it's very popular. A lot of athletes show up. They pay a couple of dollars to participate, but they, you know, that way they, you know, they don't have the butterflies no more as much.
Sure.
Because this is already like you walking on stage in your bikini with competitors. You know,
see, that's what I used to do in the club, and y'all thought I was crazy.
That's what that was, right?
But that's what I was doing. I was up there getting my nerve up to do what I do on the stage. You guys thought I was I'm not here to party. I'm here to get ready.
Oh,
Because Mike, I'm a shy guy. I don't know if you know that. I'm a naturally shy person. So it takes something for me to
do that. Yeah. I'm same way. I'm same way.
take a couple of shots to the tequila and it's all good.
Yeah. Then there's no more shyness.
But yeah, just naturally shy. But you never see me like, I'm not a guy that's always with the camera in my face. Like, oh, you know, I'm not that type of guy. But
I've never seen that with you.
no,
No, he's
well,
not. I gotta agree. Chris is not. He talks to everybody.
You can tell he's a little
never cocky. Never had a cocky attitude about him. This is what I watched Chris so much because I swear I wanted to beat him. So
looking for a reason.
Yeah.
I watched everything he did, every move when I was around.
Right.
You know,
I would say this about Chris's physique, and people ask me, and I said, here, and I'll say it right to Chris. There's nothing that I looked at that was like outstanding. It was just it all worked. You know, everything was good. It wasn't like there's
on the stage. Like
that's what I looked at. Is that fair? Is that what you would say?
Yeah.
I mean,
because I felt like I wasn't in the gym and gonna just scare the hell out of somebody with my physique. But when I took off of my clothes, the way my body was put together, it was prototypical of what you want to look like or do. That was my mindset behind, you know, competing, and I wanted to balance everything out. So people were like, oh, well, you didn't have a lot of outstanding body parts.
And that's exactly what you want. You want everything to blend in together.
I know. That's what I was trying to do.
That's what I tell people.
They act like it was a bad thing. You know, but everything was developed. If everything's developed all over your body and you got an anatomy chart type of physique, that's what I was trying to do. But it wasn't going to be like a huge chest, huge arms.
When I assess it, I'm right. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got guys that, the arms are phenomenal, their legs are phenomenal, but it just doesn't work because everything else. I've seen guys look like Mr. Olympia in the gym. They get on stage and it just doesn't happen.
Falls apart. I remember they said about Aaron.
What I'm talking about. I have no idea. I'm looking for him.
You're like looking around. But yeah, I just think, and when you start to go for size, it's hard to keep everything under control when he's talking about balance and
I agree. I mean, certain things you're going to develop the way they're going to develop because of genetics, but you can also do that up a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, did you put together like a physique that you wanted to present? Did you obtain that?
I mean, I had to improve a lot on my back, which ended up being one of my better body parts. And legs are always there genetically. Upper body I had to work hard to develop.
What were you doing on your back? Your back was crazy. I always had
deadlifted.
He deadlifted.
Deadlifted for like
the stories.
Yeah, like 2 straight years. I mean, I deadlifted more than that, but 2 straight years just deadlifts on back day. Nothing. I mean, I did other stuff. I would go in. I would warm up with pull downs, and then I would do deadlifts, and we'd go rack pulls for 3 weeks, off the floor for 3 weeks, then deficit deadlifts for 3 weeks. Cycle back through that. So I'd do the deadlifts, then I would go to reverse hyper for lower back, and I would go to bent over row or bent over row, but it was cable row, and then I would do shrugs. That was it, and that was
how many sets deadlifts?
So what we did was we'd go 225 for 8, 15 for 8, and then 405 for 8 or 5, and then we keep going up until we got to a single. Either you got the single or you didn't get it. I mean, whatever it was, then you stop there. And so we tried to improve it every week, and tell you what, it pretty much worked.
So you did fives and fours and triples and doubles?
I did, yeah, I did that. Yep.
Oh. Do you do that for squats too?
Squats, I did like 8 sets of 2, 5 sets of 5. Not real crazy high rep. There's a few things where I superset high weight things, but mainly just those squats and leg press. Not a lot of hacks, really.
But you were really strong, in all exercises, right?
Yeah, pretty strong. I mean, but as strong as I was, I'd look across the gym when I was with the West Side guys. I'd be like, oh, wait. Those guys are just, and some of the guys look like they couldn't, but you know how powerlifters, they're not all big guys. I mean, there's some small, but man, they can move the weight. It's a different ball game. I get it. They train and generally different. But I was fairly strong, and I shied away from bench pressing a lot, just because I knew it was injury waiting to happen.
Did you have any major injuries in your time?
Did not.
No. So now when you train people, do you train people one-on-one, or do you do contact?
I do both. Mainly
so
groups.
If somebody wants to contact you, if somebody sees this show and wants to contact you for training or contest prep, where can they reach you?
Just go online at mike@mikefrancois.com.
Mike@mikefrancois.com.
Yeah, right.
You don't have
I
social
know if they
media?
just honestly, if they couldn't remember that, and just Google Mike Francois training or whatever, they could get to my life.
Hey, Mike, there is something called Instagram,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can download the app. It's good for business.
Use that.
You
I have it. I just don't get on there enough.
Also, but
What?
but you have it.
I have Instagram.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh,
That's how I contacted him.
Because I've been messaging Mike Christian for a while now. He's not even saying it, I guess. I think he's not even.
Maybe you don't know how to use it.
Chris, did you get a new address or something? Because I see yours came across.
Say
My
what?
address?
It changed recently. Because it's like it doesn't say Christopher Mir, it says what does it say on yours?
Christopher.
Christopher Ray or something like that?
Oh, that's on my Facebook. That's a long story.
Thought you and Sean were related. I didn't know.
No, because you know what? 'Cause I was getting hacked out of every time I put up Chris Cormier, Christopher Cormier, someone's hacking it. I don't know why. And then I said, I'm going to put a different name, Christopher Ray, with a different.
I got you.
With a different.
Well, now that you've said it, they're going to hack that. So.
Yeah, I know, right?
okay.
With a different birthday and everything. It's the wrong birthday.
Michael Francois 33. So
yeah, Michael Francois 33 at Gmail.
Yeah,
is that your football number or what?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Mine was 22.
22, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'd give up all the bodybuilding to go back and play football again.
Oh man, I love football, dude. Oh man. Still.
I see. I grew up playing soccer. I don't know nothing about football.
Yeah, exactly.
You got that European.
Give me the football. I wouldn't know how to throw it, probably. Yeah.
I know how to throw a ball. But I just never played it. But I would have been good though, because I was fast.
Yeah.
I was the fastest one. Man, all throughout my career in soccer, I was the fastest one. I ran the 100 meters under 11 in fucking soccer shoes.
Holy shit. That's
soccer shoes. In soccer shoes.
Soccer shoes.
I was 13.
11 itself is good, or high school or whatever, but yeah.
Back then it was good. 10,
I mean, if you're 10-8, 10-9, 11, and
10-6
meters in high school,
I ran the 100 in soccer shoes on fucking grass in 10-6.
Yeah.
Back then, that was the European record.
10-6, yeah, that's flying.
That's awesome.
That was before Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I remember I raced
Kevin
LeBron. Bro, Kevin thought he was so fast, talking all this shit on the tour. I remember I was like, I'll race you. he said, let's race for $3,000, right? So I'm like, okay. Wow.
Did you beat him?
We get out there. We were about to race in England, but we tried to clear out this space to race, and the bums in the park wanted to fight us all.
Oh,
so it was me and Sean, me and Kevin, Paul Dillette, and what's his name? Vince Taylor. We were squaring off with these bums in the fucking parking lot in the park, ready to fight these. Yeah, they want us to get out of their park, basically. And we was like, what?
Really?
Like, yeah, and then we saw what's the guy's name? who put on the show back then.
Amelia?
The case?
Amelia come walking down the way, and we kind of like, you know, eased up on the fight situation, but it was like we were squaring off with these bums. It was pretty funny. Then we got a chance in Switzerland, I think, and then we were talking, and then I guess the crowd got wind that we was gonna try to race, so all the crowd from the competition came out there and formed a big
I don't like that.
track, like a track. And so he kept jumping the gun. He jumped the gun like 3 times on me. But the third time I just took off but he took off before me, but I caught him and we tied at the end. And then when we tied, when I let up to slow down, both of my hamstrings pulled.
Ooh.
That's what I was about to say, man. You guys.
So both of my I'm limping, and I had like 3 shows to do, and I'm in there icing my hamstrings, pissed off that I hurt myself trying to race this fool.
Didn't
You
Kevin
got
try to
it.
race this track and field fucking star? What was his name?
Yeah,
Chambers, I was there. It was,
Yeah, I remember that. What was he
Yeah.
thinking? He didn't think he could.
Kevin think he's fast.
But I had a video, but I was taping this way, right? So when 2 guys are running this way, like, oh, Kevin is doing good, you know, because
It
well,
wasn't.
I mean, when you look from the side, he was like twice, you know, the length. I mean, it was like, you know, twice as fast. But you know, from this way, they look like, oh, they're you know, step by step, the same way. It was foolish for him to even, you know, think that. And Kevin actually thought that he can beat him, you know. So are you fucking crazy? The guy is like under 10 second, you know, 100 meters. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Kevin,
Yeah,
he still think he's fast.
yeah, well,
But Kevin is still okay. This is one thing. Kevin came a couple of years ago, and at the age of 50, he was still benching 5 plates and do behind the neck presses with the 4 plates and shit like this. I mean, I don't know how you guys are. I mean, I was never super strong, but my strength is 1/3 of what I used to be. I don't know, Dennis. You could have pushed the house. I remember you.
no, it's over. It's over.
Over.
If I do 2 plates, it's heavy.
2 plates is heavy, so 50%,
Yeah, less than 50%.
less than 50. Yeah. How about you, Chris?
I'm down. My legs can push, my upper body no. Just because I tore a tricep, but I think if I didn't tear my tricep, I'd still be able to do some good amount of weight. Because even when I was clean, I was still doing 4 plates for like 10 reps. Huh?
When did you tear your triceps?
Coming back after I was in the hospital for my back for the spinal
Like you
infection.
tore it off the bone, or
Part of it. Part
so
of it.
you had
'Cause
no,
I was on a bike.
you had no
I was on
surgery?
a bike and I went over the handlebars
Hmm.
after I hit the tabletop jump, thinking I was as young as I was in high school when I used to race
You're evil
BMX.
Knievel.
Yeah, when I was racing BMX, and I thought I still had it in my.
You had surgery done though? Okay.
I should have, and that was a turning point in my career. If I would have done, but I spent so much time in the hospital. Man, I felt suicidal in there, and I was like, "There's no way I can go back in the hospital for nothing. Like, it's got to be, you're gonna have to carry me in there because I'm not going willingly to go for nothing, you know." So, I had a show to do, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep training. I just trained through the pain, and did that show in Canada. Remember that show in Canada, Milos?
Which one?
The one you're supposed to bring me insulin, motherfucker, and you fucking didn't show up. That one.
Specifically, which one?
That one.
Hold a second. So I was supposed to fly all the way to Canada to bring you
You was
insulin.
already there. You were already there.
I was there,
Yeah.
and I didn't give you.
When I
Why
did
the
my
hell would I
comeback.
give you?
Yeah.
And you know, if he was
Hey,
there,
man, I need something.
Was
I was flat. I didn't bring nothing over the border because I didn't want to get caught up with nothing.
Milos competing too?
No, he had a guy competing.
Oh, because normally Milos would give it.
He had a guy competing.
I would give it to anybody, you know. Shit. I shoot you right now. Give you some oranges.
Okay. So getting ready for that show, I tore my triceps and I just tried to do it anyway, thinking oh, I could still at least, get qualified for Olympia. But back in the day, if I didn't qualify for Olympia, then I'm looking to stop the show, stop the whole thing, because I didn't just want to be someone up there. I wanted to be someone that's, going for the title at at that stage of the game for me. And I just don't want to be a regular bodybuilder up there competing and getting whatever placing that comes,
Yeah,
So I took a fourth and I missed third. Then that would have put me in Olympia. So that was the beginning of the end right there.
It's the beginning of the end. You got it right, because the time is there. I appreciate everybody. Mike, man, thank you so much for coming on.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Planning in the future, I'm planning another old school roundtable with more. I want to get everybody. I like Mike Christian. I want to get Ron Love on, and do
I like to get Ron Love, man.
6 to 8 people at the same time to get some real old stories out. Maybe
Ron would have some good stories. Ron's a good guy, good storyteller.
I talked to him at the Olympia. I saw him at the Olympia. He looks great in the 70s. Just looks.
Man, Ron got me into the 50 Cent concert for free. Yeah. He was bodyguarding 50 Cent at the time. He brought me in there for free.
But I appreciate you coming on, Mike. I appreciate you. And I'll keep you posted on the Legends old school roundtable that I want to do.
Maybe I'll see you guys too at the Arnold if you guys are out.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you then.
All right.
All right, Mike.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys. Thanks, man.
Take care, guys.
Have a good one.
Love.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, see you guys. Take care.